Well, speaking of plastic surgery, where are you at now?
There you go.
Very good.
Man, I thought that this was going to be like a primary thing that we talk about. Um,
Boobs, yes or no?
I can't even believe this. I'm not getting boobs.
Mm.
How do you feel about that?
I'm better now, but that was a mess. Like Vinny was a mess and I was a mess. Like
two
at the
different
same
reasons.
time.
Yeah, it was at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I'm a little bit removed from it at this point. Like if anybody saw the Burt Kreischer podcast, which by the way was fantastic, as was the Fousey podcast was fantastic. The FaZe Banks one, really good too. Vinny made the point that our podcasts have been strong. I think this has been a really, really strong one too. In any case, I had reached out to Burt Kreischer. I said, "Hey, I'm gonna have boobs on July 11th. I want you to be the first guest that we, talk to, like with my boobs." And he was like, "Dude, classic. Like hilarious. Let's do it. I'd be honored." And dude, I was 10 hours away from being in surgery. 10 hours. The surgery was paid for. Like, dude. And then the anesthesiologist backs out because they found out that it's going to be a gag and they think that's disrespectful and they back out. And then the doctor finds out the anesthesiologist backed out. He's like, "Oh, wow, like maybe I don't want anything to do with this. Like, I'm not going to be on camera anymore. Like, I won't have my name associated with this. Like, we really want you guys to say that you went and got this done in Mexico." Then we're looking for a new surgery center to get it rescheduled at, and we just can't really get one in Los Angeles County. We're looking in like Orange County. Like we think we can sneak you in at like 6 a.m, but we're just not going to tell anybody. Which is all like, frankly, not even that weird compared to like some of the stuff that we've done for stunts in the past. But what affected me a lot more was that on the day I was supposed to have the surgery, I was, screw it. I was shopping in the grocery store. The person who rang me up at the grocery store was evidently a transgender person. Like that's what it seemed to me. And this person said to me, "I really respect and admire your recovery, your sobriety." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." And it was like, I knew that I wasn't like, I obviously wasn't, "Oh, and let me tell you what's going on," and it's at the forefront of my mind. I'm thinking, man, I'm unwilling to like vocalize.
Like you're ashamed of it a little bit.
What's going on? Like, what's stopping me from saying anything to this person? And like, what's up with that? And how does this even really jive with my recovery? And this happened on the day that I was supposed to have already had the boobs. This was on the day of the surgery, and then the next day it was just kind of like eating at me, and we're gonna go do this Burt Kreischer podcast, and before we go to Burt Kreischer, I tell Isaac, like, "Hey man, I got to go back to the grocery store, see if that person's there." And we went back to the grocery store. They were there. I said, "Hey, can I talk to you for a bit?" And we had like a 15-minute conversation in the store. I didn't know one way or another what I was going to do. And we go and meet up with Bert. And we talked about the whole situation. Bert said something that really, really like put it in a whole other like realm of perspective, like how bent out of shape people get about blackface. And it's this idea of getting boobs, literally the exact equivalent. Like, let me dress up like.
But can't like dudes, like you could just be like, "I love titties so much I want my own." It has nothing to do with trans or not.
I mean, I guess I don't know, but like after the Burt Kreischer podcast, then like Isaac and I went and met up with that person from the grocery store. Like we went out and I was dying to get food and we went and talked at a Mexican restaurant for like a good
3 hours.
It was at least an hour, maybe 2. And by the end of that conversation, I was just like, yo, I hate to admit this because I'd been so vocal about it. Like, I'm just such a dumbass for like announcing everything. Like, but I was like, dude, I really think that the universe just straight up intervened to prevent this from happening. They call it God doing for me what I cannot do for myself. Like the universe stepped in to save me from myself. And and I was like, okay, I'm not doing it. I called it off. And then like 3 days later, I'm like, okay, but what if we get it back on?
You're like, what if I do it for a second? And then like,
and then I was like, what if we do the surgery, but they just pump it all up and then just pump it all out? So I technically did it, but I didn't.
Yeah, you told me that, and I was like, what?
You were like, that's not it.
That's not it.
I mean, dude, I just went back and forth about it, and I was like, for the people who I've told that I backed out of it. And that's the hardest part for me is that I've never been the guy to say I'm going to do something and then not do it.
Yeah, but so then, it's been a couple weeks since that whole thing went down and like you've been at the ranch kind of just like with your thoughts. Like when was the realization that you were okay with not doing it? Because you're not, it's not as like catastrophic now.
I've been a mess about it.
Still?
Well, I mean, like I've been a mess about the idea of having said I'm gonna do it, and then like I'm ashamed of like there I'm the guy like, oh, like where's the tits? Like, oh, like I backed out of it, like, and I felt like I said I'm gonna do it, and then I didn't do it, and I feel like ashamed of that, and like, I think but where I'm at with it now, and I really believe this, that I'm still ashamed. I'm still mortified. I'm embarrassed, and I'm the first guy in the history of the world to be embarrassed and ashamed of not getting a boob job, and I also believe that one of the most valuable, important qualities that a person can have is the ability to admit when they're wrong. And I got it wrong. I just got that one wrong. I did.
You reserve the right to be wrong.
Yeah, I got that one wrong. Like, I was like, dude, everyone, it's going to be a numbers game. Like, the whole world is going to know that I got tits. Sure, like 90% of the world will think it's awful. But, like, there's just so many people are going to know, and it's going to, like, and it was just like, I had an answer for everything too. I had an answer for everything. Like, oh well, people say that this is desperate and depraved. I'm like, okay, look, everything I've done in my life, in my career, has been desperate and depraved. Like that's my MO.
But you're not thinking about it every day when you wake up, like it's not at the forefront.
No,
looking at yourself in the mirror, just like, damn.
I mean, dude, that like in every way, dude, it was like it's just what it would have done to my body is not really rad. Like especially like I've been working so hard to be like as healthy as I can possibly be. Like it was super destructive for my body. Like the woman from the grocery store made some very valid points, like beyond the blackface thing, like very valid points about how how problematic a lot of my plans with it were. I mean, they were funny, but they were like when hearing it from her, like there were some problems with what I was trying to do.
After the whole conversation, we were at I was like, I was talking to Isaac, and I was like, I was like, what did this chick look like? He's like, I don't know. She wore a mask and gloves the whole time. And me and Vinny were like, she wore a mask and gloves the whole time at dinner, and you never even saw her face. And my thing was like, instantly right away, was like, I don't give a fuck who you are. If you're still wearing a mask and gloves 7 years after the pandemic, I don't want to hear anything of what comes out of your mouth. That's what was my initial thought. Like, and I was like, dude, so you're just staring at her eyes the whole time, and I was like, she was hypnotizing you like Marilyn Manson on like her agenda. I was just like, you left out the most important part of the puzzle.
That's not the most important. Like, there were a lot of valid
when you
points
see
made.
somebody walking around the streets with mask and glove on now, you're like, who's this fucking guy? You know what I mean?
I mean, you're not asking them for advice, but
would you ask advice of somebody that is still
no, that's what
driving
I'm saying.
a car with a mask?
No.
You're like, this guy, the pandemic's been over for years.
No,
I mean,
but
I'm
I think
sure
this person was a sounding board for Steve. Like, it was affecting Steve in, like, part of you didn't want to do it.
Yeah, maybe
and
you
didn't
just
feel good about it, I think.
I mean, I don't know, man.
Yeah, maybe you knew.
But, okay, hold on. Did you, before talking to this person, did you already have the decision made up that
No.
you weren't going to do it?
100% no. And dude, like,
The lengths that we went through to get this
had
done.
the anesthesiologist not backed out, like, I'd have tits this second. There was a hyperbaric chamber set up in the fucking living room of the rental house for me to heal twice as fast.
Yeah.
I was beyond committed. Like, there were 3 surgeries paid for. The one to get the boobs in, the one to get the boobs out, and then the one to, like, tighten up the skin after it was demolished from the whole procedure.
Tighten
like-
up the skin. Wow.
That was an extra 10 grand.
And you
Like,
already paid these? Did you get like a gift card after?
Dude, do we know what the refund was?
They said Kirsty said partial.
But there's a partial refund.
We have to figure out what that is.
I mean, dude, if it's like a joke, like, there's gonna be a problem, dude, because not one of those
make a
surgeries
note
happened.
to talk to Kirsty about that.
Yeah,
but
what happened to the because it's public that other
Yeah,
podcast.
I talked to that guy.
What
too.
are they saying?
I talked to that guy too. I told him, like, hey man, whatever it takes to make it right. Like, and the guy said, before he gets his money back, he would much prefer me to help promote their podcast.
Yeah.
I'm like, great. I'd never promote my own, but I will, like, absolutely promote yours.
yeah.
Fucking.
All right, so you're not.
Like, I'd rather get tits than promote my own podcast.
All right, so you're not beating yourself anymore
Well, no,
up
and
for
then-
not getting tits. What
Here's
are
a-
you beating yourself up with on a day-to-day basis now? That
I mean,
you're
dude,
not-
I beat myself up with everything, but I do. It's good for me to be in Tennessee on the ranch. That's great. The other thing that's really good is the way that we've been proactive about.
filming and content.
Yeah, like I mean,
That always makes you feel better.
anybody can see that I've not put up a main channel video on YouTube for now months, right? Like since my birthday, like it's a month and a half. Because we've just been like double down, like what are we gonna do to make this new tour epic, and that's where all of my attention, all my effort, all my energy is going, and we're going out on the road, and I'm super stoked.
Yeah, this
Like,
comes out on the 8th, the 7th. So
It
we'll
was going to be called the Gone Too Far Tour. Now it's called Steve-O Super Dummy, and it's going to be
yeah. I guess we found out where the line was.
right. Like and dude, there's a ton of still like. It's a ton of laughs from just like what a super dummy I was for telling the world I'm going to get tits, and like the lengths of preparation I went to, and like we're still going to film a bunch of
Yeah, we
fucked up shit around that too.
When you tell people you haven't gotten the tits, are they bombed? Like, what's their
Oh.
reaction in person?
Dude, we got to get you a microphone, Isaac. Like when I tell
He doesn't want
Yeah.
any part of the
Okay,
camera
the
or
question
mic.
Isaac asked was,
Isaac asked when I tell people what are the reactions. I would say that 98.7% of the people have been like, "Oh my God, that's the best news. Thank you." Like, like I texted Dana White that I wasn't doing. He called me immediately. Said, "Dude, I am ecstatic to hear that." Like,
He didn't want you as a ring girl up there.
I mean, everyone's like, "Oh, dude, like Sam Macaroni, dude, thank
He was
God."
bummed. Sam Macaroni was bummed.
bummed that didn't happen or
Yeah, he
that
was
it was
bummed
going to happen?
that it was
That he
gonna- when
he
it
was
was gonna-
bummed at your party. Like, dude, is he really gonna do this? I was like, yeah. He's like, dude, I don't
Yeah.
know about that one.
Yeah, I mean, dude, there was my buddy William from Vegas. He was like, dude, like Billy Squire was like the biggest guy, like arenas, the whole thing. And then he put out like a music video. He was wearing like a pink shirt, like kind of acting weird, and he tanked. He went like his career completely died. He's like,
You-
I don't want this to be your Billy Squire pink shirt moment. You know,
You've already
like,
done a lot more than put out a pink shirt and act weird.
What did
I mean, dude, I don't know, man.
what did
Like,
Pierce
My
Paris have
take
to
on
say
it,
about it?
my take on it is just like how you said Knoxville explained it. Like, oh, Steve-O is just gonna do something dumb again.
right,
That's my take on it.
right, and it, like,
But also, it's a thing. If you have any doubt, any doubt, don't do it.
If you have any doubt, call your father.
But do you think like do you think like what makes Eminem so great when he goes after all these people? Do you think he's like talking to people like, dude, should I say this? This is what I said, or is he just like, I'm fucking going with it? Like, is there a difference in that level of like just going for it? I mean, do you think Eminem's checking in with his committee if this is a good idea or a bad idea, or is he just like,
I
fuck it?
man, I don't know.
It's different though.
Why? Because he's like, is it critical mass or like he's already just
No, he's a rapper putting out a diss track. Steve is Steve-O getting D tits and filming a bunch of stunts with it.
It is different now that you put it in
you
that
know,
light.
it's different. I was worried, like, because I knew you were kind of. I felt like you were kind of on the fence, even the whole time. Just like you were like, I don't know. I'm something like there were moments of doubt were happening, and like picturing you like post surgery, like boobs, looking in the mirror, like being depressed about it, like crying, like. It's just like
Well,
if you're
right.
not 100%, like it's not worth it.
Right, and dude, like we're working on this documentary with the great Mike Klum, and there's one point where during the interview, like I was like, "Yo, dude, like I can't handle it. Like I'm just bummed. Like I gotta stop. You know, like because I'm like."
why he asked you to give away some shirts for what promo did he ask you to do?
I'm the point being, I'm just like a really sensitive guy, man. Like, you know, just I think I always have been, and
Yeah, but you're like the most least not sensitive guy I've ever met and the most sensitive guy I've ever met all at the same time.
yeah, I don't make a lot of sense.
And nobody knows when it is.
I know I don't make a lot of sense. I get it, and I know that it's not easy to be close to me. I get it, and I can't help it. Like I wish that you know I wish.
Well, that's what makes you you.
You're a good guy. You're not a bad guy, Steve.
I know that I'm not a bad guy, and like I'm also really happy with like the way that I've been. You know, I am like I'm proud of who I am as a person. I
Yeah.
feel like I've really you know. I've taken heed to like a lot of criticism, and I've made it important to me to improve in ways that I feel that I need to improve, and in ways that I can't do anything about, like just being who I am. Like fuck, you know, what do they say? Have the wisdom to know the difference, and the courage and the serenity and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Like So yeah, man, like I'm a sensitive guy. I'm a flawed guy. I'm a dumbass, but I'm not a bad guy.
To keep going on that, like, I, why do you think you like? What's this bad guy like? Whoever said that you weren't a bad guy?
I'm not like I don't know. I don't think anybody said I was a bad guy.
No,
But it's been like a theme lately.
no,
where
you
you're
call
like,
yourself
"Dude,
a loser really quickly. You're really quick to be like mean to yourself in that
But yeah,
way.
I would never consider you like a bad guy.
Yeah,
like
I'm
you don't
not a
have
bad guy.
bad intentions. You're not like malicious. But I feel like the theme for the last month has been like, dude, I'm not a bad
Month?
guy. Has it been longer than that?
It's been so much longer than that.
But specifically like a bad person, and I'm like, I would never even think that, like.
Well, good.
But I just didn't know if something happened where like you did something and somebody said that you were like a piece of shit, and you believed it.
No, I don't think I did anything. And I've been entirely too fucking quick to, like, speak up about, like, what hurts my feelings and like, feed energy to that, Like, I've been watering grass, like what,
Yeah, I've been watering grass, but
yeah.
But
But
for the
sometimes
last,
you're
like-
just being like the only person really being honest about their feelings being hurt. A lot of people kind of feel like they need to keep that in, like, which is another thing. Like, you're not embarrassed to say that, like,
yeah.
yeah.
do you think you've gotten more sensitive as you've gotten older or less?
I
Well-
think that,
I'm gonna answer for Steve on that one. I think just in general, like when you get sober, you start like having feelings. Whereas before you're drinking, you're doing you're partying, you're just like whatever. I don't care about that. It doesn't
Right.
hurt me. She broke up with me. F her. But like now that you're like raw and experiencing like emotions, I would say that he's gotten more. I mean, just in the last 10 years.
it's more than that. Like, I think that's definitely a piece of it, but it's also, I don't know, man. Like, I just think that the internet's just gnarly.
The internet
I think the
is
internet,
gnarly.
the internet's gnarly. Like, and I don't know, I just had a feeling like before that like the internet was gnarly, but like it wasn't gnarly for me. Like I always felt like kind of like universally loved, and maybe that was delusional to feel that way. But I just felt like always like, yeah, I'm good. And then like when that stopped being the case, like, whoa, what happened? The whole world turned on me, And so then like a lot of sensitivity came up out of that. And
is
you
there
know,
any-
and whatever. I think I've chewed on it. I think I've processed it, and I think I've arrived at a place where it's like, hey, you know what? Like, I like who I'm proud of who I am because I really care about being a good guy, and to the extent that I'm flawed and like to the extent that like I suck in ways that I can't help, like fuck it, man, I can't help it. Like I am what I am.
Yeah.
And I am what I am, and I do the best I can. I care about like doing the right thing and being a good guy, and that's what matters.
I mean, Paul gets hate online. I mean, don't you like reading shitty
I
comments? And
love
it's like
it. I love it.
Paul couldn't be a more neutral dude in the world, and he gets shit on the internet.
No, I mean, if
wish I
a
was more
million
like-
people know who you are, 300,000 people are like, fuck that guy. I don't like that guy.
30% are
Yeah,
gonna hate
at
you.
least. And so, like, how many millions of people know who Steve-O is? That means a certain amount of people just go, I don't like the guy. But it has nothing to do with you being a bad guy. Like, it's just, that's a numbers game. If
Yeah.
10 million people knew who I was, there'd be 4 million people
You're the
minimum
nicest guy I've
being
ever met.
like, fuck that dude. He's a piece of
Yeah,
shit. His
like,
music
dude,
sucks.
like,
He
anybody-
sucks.
Anybody who says bad shit about Paul Brisky can fucking go right to hell.
Yeah. Same with Vinny. Vinny's like Vinny's
Yeah.
always laughing.
You
We
know-
always give him a hard time, and he's always still like. How can you say? But on the internet, it's just there, and it's a cesspool.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's
Toxicity.
You guys are also a little too sensitive about that shit, honestly. If
Yeah,
people
big
say a
time.
mean thing on the internet, I picture like like a bunch of 7th graders around each other just like cracking up, being like, oh, like, call my bitch. And they're just like, yeah, fuck this little bitch. And they're just dying laughing. Like, like,
mean, you're
that's
right,
probably
dude.
what a lot of it is.
Bro,
when
I'm-
they're just like gay, like,
Yeah.
it's just kids being like goofing on shit.
Vinny said his main thing for not wanting to talk about the divorce was that the comments were gonna say, "Dude, like I knew that was gonna happen," or because when she was on the podcast like before, the comments were saying she's gonna leave him within 6 months, and he says if I talk about it openly, then people are gonna be like, see, we told you, we knew it.
Yeah, but it's like the people that are saying that are just probably jealous that he pulled a hot chick. It's like,
whatever.
It's always
dude.
just a reflection of how shitty your life is.
Yeah, I mean, the way that we treat others is a reflection of how we feel about ourselves.
Yeah. Is this the Gotta Go Pee Pee Dance podcast
No,
over?
It doesn't. No.
Okay.
But we've been going an hour and 20 minutes. I'm like,
Oh, really?
It's been a lot of fun, guys. I like this episode. This was
Yeah,
great.
I think this is a good one too.
We don't
Great.
talk about L's anymore. But what does start with an L is love, and I love you guys.
Fucking love you too.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys
Gay.
being here. It's good seeing everybody. It's a fun place to be, the ranch.
I needed to come out.
You got the ice bath, the sauna, the cold plunge. You got the trail. I mean, you have everything you need here.
I had my best friends busting my balls 24/7.
I mean, dude, I acknowledge that it was a little much in the car.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With this fucking asshole.
No, you love it. You manifested this. It's not me.
I manifested what? You being an asshole?
Yeah. I'm like the older brother you never had.
Yeah. Pretty much.
But you love me and I love you.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time since I gave you guys an update about my hot sauce, and I have big news. We are going into grocery stores because we've got a label without the word butthole on it. And I know that might be upsetting to a lot of you, but the butthole version is still available on Amazon. And we have a new flavor, Heavenly Jalapeno, which is ridiculously good. I mean, what can I say? I love my hot sauce, and I love it when you guys support it. So get it on Amazon, stevo.com, and soon enough in a grocery store near you. Thank you guys. I love you.